It started with a look. Not a long one, not obvious or dramatic. Just a glance, quick enough to be dismissed, but heavy enough that I felt it. From across the dinner table, over mashed potatoes and casual laughter, I saw it in her eyes. Something shifted. It wasn't playful or familiar like before. It was measured, curious, adult. Ever had someone twist kindness into something darker, and when you said no, they made you pay for it? Subscribe, because this story isn't about desire. It's about what happens when obsession turns into vengeance. Her name was Talia. 17, almost 18. She'd been my daughter Ava's best friend since middle school. Smart, outgoing, a little too observant. She was like furniture in our home, always there after school, helping with dishes, crashing on movie nights. I had never once thought of her as anything but my daughter's friend, until that glance. And after that, I started noticing things. It began subtly. Lingering hugs, inside jokes she directed at me, compliments with too much intent. You should dress like that more often, Mr. D. You look sharp. She laughed when she said it, but there was no smile in her eyes. It wasn't admiration. It was hunger. I told myself it was just my imagination. She was young. I was her best friend's dad, a single father juggling work, parenting, and barely enough sleep. I brushed it off until I started getting texts from her. Not in a group chat. Just her. Hey, Ava's asleep, but I can't stop thinking about that story you told earlier. Do you ever get lonely in that big house? The first few times, I ignored them. Then I responded with boundaries. Talia, this is inappropriate. Please keep it respectful. She didn't stop. She got bolder. The day I blocked her number was the day everything changed. Because when I closed the door on her fantasy, she didn't cry. She plotted. And the next time I heard her name, it wasn't from my daughter. It was from a police officer. The knock came at 7:42 p.m. I remember the time because I had just finished loading the dishwasher and was settling into the kind of evening routine every exhausted single parent lives for. TV low, lights dimmed, Ava upstairs in her room with earbuds in. I opened the door expecting a neighbor, a delivery. Instead, it was two uniformed officers. Polite, firm, efficient. Mr. Daniels? Yes. We'd like you to come with us. You're not under arrest, but there's been a report filed. It's serious. Inside the precinct, the room smelled like bleach and old stories. The detective on duty handed me a printout. My name, her name, and beneath it, accusations that felt like acid against my skin. Inappropriate touching, manipulation, grooming. Talia had filed a full report. She described incidents that never happened, dates, places, supposed text messages. She made it sound like I'd lured her, like I'd used my role as a father to get close. She included phrases like power dynamic and emotional coercion. She even said I told her to keep it secret. I sat there stunned, the walls pressing inward. The detective's voice was steady, but I saw the doubt in his eyes. I wasn't being arrested, not yet. But my name was already on paper. And once a name lands in the system attached to those accusations, the damage is never just legal. It's personal. I thought of Ava, of how she'd look at me if she believed any of it. I was released that night. No charges, no cuffs, but I didn't sleep. And in the morning, Ava was waiting in the kitchen, pale, confused. Dad, Talia said some things. She told me not to tell you she came over last week. I felt the floor tilt. She had come over, unexpected, uninvited, while Ava was out. She tried to kiss me. I told her to leave. She laughed like it was a joke. And then she said, "If you tell Ava, she'll hate you." Now I realized, she never meant for me to tell Ava. She meant to beat me to it. It's strange how the smallest things, routine, instinct, luck, can save your life. Years ago, after a break-in while Ava was still in grade school, I installed motion-triggered cameras around the house. Front porch, kitchen, living room. Nothing fancy, just peace of mind. I never imagined they'd become my proof. After that first accusation, after Ava's pale, unsure face, I didn't try to argue with emotion. I went straight to evidence. I pulled up the day Talia visited uninvited, 3 days before the police showed up. There she was, walking in when Ava wasn't home, tossing her bag on the couch, moving close to me, too close, in the living room. And then, the moment she leaned in, I flinched. I stepped back. I told her to leave. The audio wasn't perfect, but you could hear enough. This isn't appropriate. You need to go. You're scared someone will find out? Talia, get out. Don't come here again. And then her final words, clear as glass. You'll regret this. I watched it twice. The second time, I wept. Not because it hurt, though it did, but because I now knew. She didn't just want me embarrassed. She wanted me erased. I backed the files up. Free drives. Cloud. Flash. Offline copy at the office. Then I called my lawyer. A good man. Quiet. Brilliant. He didn't flinch when I told him the story. We'll end this, he said. Not in the court of public opinion. In the one that actually matters. But even with proof, damage had already taken root. The school board Ava and I worked with pulled back. Friends grew quiet. And Ava, my own daughter, looked at me differently. She wanted to believe me. But she needed more than words. She needed the truth to speak louder than the fear. The courtroom smelled like old paper and colder judgment. I sat at the defendant's table in a navy suit that felt too tight, heart steady but chest hollow. I hadn't slept the night before. Not because I doubted the outcome. We had the footage, the texts, the timestamps, but because I doubted the world. Sometimes the truth isn't enough. Sometimes lies are louder, more seductive, more believable when told through the mouth of someone younger, softer, and crying. Talia cried when she walked in. Perfect timing. Head down, sleeves too long for her wrists, voice barely above a whisper. She told her story like a practiced hymn. The coercion, the secrecy, the nights she couldn't say no. The courtroom leaned in, and for a moment, even I forgot what was real. Then my lawyer stood. No anger, no dramatics, just a calm unraveling of every lie she'd laced into the narrative. He played the footage. We watched her enter uninvited, watch her approach. Heard my voice, firm, flat. You need to leave. This isn't right. Don't come here again. And then her smile. That final smile. You'll regret this. Gasps rippled through the gallery. The prosecutor shifted. The judge's eyes hardened. And Talia? She turned gray. Then came the texts. Screenshots from her deleted conversations, recovered from cloud backups. Messages to a friend. If he's not going to take me seriously, maybe I should make him. Once the story's out, he'll wish he kept me close. It wasn't just obsessive. It was engineered. The judge's ruling was swift. Charges dismissed. Case closed. But Talia wasn't done yet. Because the court cleared me legally. But my daughter still hadn't said a word. The house was too quiet after the case ended. No more lawyers. No more emails. No reporters in the driveway. Just me, Ava, and the silence between us. She hadn't gone to court. She'd read the reports, watched the footage in her bedroom, alone. And afterward, she didn't speak. Not out of doubt, I think, but shame. Guilt for believing even 1 second of the lie. That night, I made her tea. Jasmine, her favorite. Set it on the counter and sat across from her without a word. She finally looked up. Her eyes were red. She told me things, she whispered. She said if I ever doubted her, I'd regret it too. I didn't want to believe her, Dad. I just didn't want to believe you'd ever be in that kind of story. I understand, I said. And I meant it. Because trust isn't always about who you believe. Sometimes it's about what you fear. She started crying then, apologizing between sobs. For hesitating. For letting Talia into our home. For seeing me as a question mark instead of her father. I didn't need the apology. I needed the space to forgive her, and she gave it. She was your friend, I said. She used that. Not just against me, but against you too. We never said her name again in that house. Talia was expelled, publicly discredited. Her parents moved her out of state before the community backlash got worse. I didn't follow her story after that. I didn't need to, because the chapter was closed. And the damage she intended to leave in her wake, I rebuilt it, quietly, brick by brick. With my daughter, Ava left for college the next fall. Before she got on the plane, she hugged me tighter than she had in years. You never had to prove yourself to me, she said. But you did. And I'll never forget that. And I knew then. The lies didn't win. Truth did. And it never had to shout. It just had to last. Ever had someone try to ruin your life, only to watch you come back stronger, wiser, unshakable? Subscribe. Because the most powerful stories aren't about revenge. They're about rising where someone swore you'd stay buried.